So probably either between Blizzard World and Busan.
Sure. Whatever one you'd feel like you'd have more questions with. Maybe a good long game is not too bad.
Then let's do Blizzard World. Sure.
Let's do it. Alrighty. How are you, by the way?
I'm doing all right.
Zooming in. All right. All right. All right. Is this Tracer?
Yes. And then there's a little bit of May in there.
Gotcha. I like that hero pool. That's like the old traditional flex DPS. Little projectile, little flanker. Love to see it. I think May's great. I think May's great.
I joined my college team last semester. So.
Ah, nice. Congratulations. How's that been going?
It was last semester went good. This semester, the team I was on kind of collapsed. So now I'm
classic.
Yeah. So now I'm just on the bench for the other team. Not sure how much I'm actually gonna play.
All right. Well, unfortunate. Nice choice of skin, by the way. My favorite Tracer skin. All right. Familiar with Tracer fundamentals, I assume, of what you're trying to accomplish.
Yes.
That's why you're here. Short off angles, timing, all the nonsense here. So what we'll do is we'll check kind of your understanding of the character with your execution of the character, and then if you have any questions, just let me know. Sound good?
Yeah, I know I've torn through a lot of your Tracer backlogs, so.
Yeah, and there's a lot of Tracer VODs, so my most coach hero, definitely. Good. I like this rotation from you. I'm just gonna kind of go in assuming that you kind of know, but if I say anything and you're like, wait, what? Let me know.
Yeah.
We'll take our time. Now that we're actually in, we're not in a huge rush here. I like this little staging from here. Now, I would say from here, knowing that your tank is kind of engaging here, you could, even though you are down, you're on it, I wouldn't hesitate to put out some pressure here. You're probably okay to do that. I really like the staging from you, though.
I think I didn't realize that they had TP'd up there until, like, right at the end.
Yeah, nice. Well, hey, we'll take that. That was nice. Okay, now I just need to live. I wouldn't take that duel right now, given the situation. Heck, I don't even mind you holding the angle here, because ultimately this position will allow you for good pressure. Yeah, let's see what you do. Nice. Good stuff. I will say it's always a bit risky when you see this.
I think I was just a little bit late on the blink.
Yeah, I agree with you there. It felt like you started to shoot first, and you're like, oh, I need to blink this. And to be fair, you didn't actually finish your clip. You did actually do a mid-clip blink, which is really good. Yeah, good stuff. Next rotation from here is going to be really important. You're down your recall, but we still want to do stuff. From here, your best option, frankly, probably would have been to drop and then utilize your cover from either this pressure here, or then rotate from there. Just basically off of convenience of where you're going.
I know it's just kind of an awkward spot to.
It is. Somewhere. It really is, yeah. And especially down your recall, you're concerned about it. Yep, I love this from you. Probably could have greeted your recall a little bit longer there. So if we're being nitpicky here, you're down to 45. Yeah, I'm being nitpicky. I think it's all right.
Yeah, I heal and I didn't realize it.
Yeah, it's unreasonable to expect you to do that.
Yeah.
All right, I want you to get off a point, though, for sure. Just in case they do touch. Either left or right, just in case. Oh my goodness gracious, what is she doing?
There's the Sombra in the back line, and I was like trying to... I don't want to convey it well in case...
Yeah, that's all right. That's all right. Okay. So far, so good. I've been really pleased with your rotations. Just been some details, but good stuff. Any questions so far?
Not quite yet.
Okay. Good patience here. Good use of your blinks. Really good use of your blinks. Like, we got some crazy uptime in here from your blink usage, right? You know it's a 2v1.
I've been trying to work on.
Good. It shows. Like, really, like, you talk about uptime here, right? The amount of time that you've taken two people's attention while the fight. I think the fight has started here. Yeah, we've got a fight going on here. So this is well done. I mean, it's still life over May, so it's kind of a pain. But yeah, you should be pleased with this. Oh man, he's asking for it. Yeah, good stuff. And ultimately, you think about space, right? If I'm coaching this May player, I think holding the space here is really valuable for her, right? Short angle, you got lots of space. I mean, not only did you take the 2v1, but you cleared the angle, right? Now, you might not be thinking about this at the time, but that's really important because it condenses the threats for your team. There's no threat coming from this angle. But more than that, for you selfishly, Pulse Bomb, ease of access, right? So much easier. So much easier to get a Pulse Bomb off here, which I assume is kind of where we're going here. To be honest with you, Details, micro, you got smoked, right?
Yeah.
To be honest with you, that was actually pretty darn good from him too. Like, look at these shots, right? Man, maybe this must be me and Zen. Holy crap, that's insane. I wouldn't worry too much about it. You know you screwed up. I think the approach, the use of your blinks was reasonable. So okay, it happens.
Yeah. We just kind of ended going back and forth throughout the game.
Mm-hmm. What I will say with Zen is remember that you almost always, without exception, win the war of attrition. The longer that engagement goes, the less likely he is to win it. Just because he doesn't have any cooldowns to rely off of, because you do have self-sustain. Just keep that in mind. Like, I know you're like, I don't want to blow all my blinks on the Zen. I don't want to blow my recall too. But if you got to do it, you got to do it. To be honest with you, mate, I don't think you really need to change your approach, right? Talk about kind of where you're coming from here. A little pressure here on the angle. It's not bad, getting him low. But then once you're here, take the exact same angle that you just took, right? I see no reason why not to take the angle here. I see no reason why not to take the angle here. We don't necessarily have to reinvent the wheel here. You get what I'm saying?
Yeah.
I mean, I don't mind this, but this is a question of how long is it going to take to complete this rotation, right?
The way I saw it is, I don't think I realized it, but they did the Zen ult trans, and I couldn't really go into that, so I figured I might as well take the downtime.
Yeah, sure. Absolutely. But again, the question for me is this a superior angle to where you were previously? And I'm not so sure, right? It's better if you were to attack from high ground here, but with the information that you have, there's probably going to be more accessibility from this angle here. Again, that's me kind of splitting hairs, but it's worth pointing out. This is fine. Good try. I mean, I like going for the Weaver there for sure. And it was a good try. It was a good use of Blink Pulse, right, as a gap closer. Hey, you know what? I respect it. You got to make a choice there. You're like, it's definitely going to be a 1-for-1. Is it worth it? Sure. Why not?
Well, I knew I was going to die, so I was like, I'm going to take him with me.
Yeah, I respect it. And ultimately, you guys get at about the same time, so sure. Okay, now this is the tricky part of the map, okay? So you really have two choices here in terms of angles. And I think you're already leaning towards one. Right or left, right? Basically harass from here, force them to kind of migrate this way, prevent them from coming up the stairs. Or you could kind of play around this little bazaar here, or this little, I don't know what this thing is. It's not a full-out bazaar, but it's something, right?
Yeah.
And I think like this choice here is fine. You're going to win this cooldown trade. Yeah, and there you go, right? I mean, this is exactly what we want. I mean, look at this, right? Merry Christmas.
Yeah.
Yeah, so as long as you live now. Wow. I'll be honest with you, mate. How long have you been training Tracer? Like, seriously?
I started playing, like, seriously, at this point, it is about, like, 10-ish months ago, although I did have a 2-month break.
Yep.
But over the summer because I was busy and couldn't play. But otherwise, so kind of around 8-ish months.
Okay, when you were filling out the form, alt account situation, you were around gold, plat-ish, right? And now you've bumped. It looks like you bumped your rank up a tiny bit here.
So yeah, I did the placements on my plat, and that like placed me plat 2. I've since fallen. So I'm trying to figure out why I got placed there, and then I've been stuck sitting around gold 1, gold 2 for the like past week or so. I did have a stint where I fell down to like gold 4, 5, but I managed to climb back up, and I've been like averaging 50-50 and like stuck gold 2 right now.
Okay, we're gonna have to talk about that because I think there are moments here where this looks comfortably plat, and I'm trying to find out why that would be. Play your life.
And I thought I had at least at the moment, time felt like a really good attack when I was playing this map.
Yeah, I can see it. I think movement has been pretty good. Sure, I mean, I respect the attempt to get the timing off, but that's fine. I'm going to zoom through here if I don't have any obvious feedback. So the way I like to coach things is I like to coach things with the expectation of if I'm aiming for diamond, what am I looking to clean up here? So if there are tiny little details that are off, we don't want to obsess on those tiny little details. But like your angle's relatively good, your movement relatively good so far, so we'll keep going. Good stuff. I like the respect that you give at the Weaver, using your blinks, even though you're like, he's one, still use the blink. But like, you and I kind of both know here that, like, let's not be silly here, that you're carrying right now, right? Like,
Yes.
your positioning is good, your movement is good, your mechanics feel smooth, and yes, this Zenyatta is doing a pretty good job making you sweat. Like, you're managing attention well. You're also not egoing too often, so when it is a 2v1, you're not, like, hard committing, you're being respectful. And this is just one of those moments for me where the micro mistake, yeah, it happens, but this is not respectful, right? So think about it this way. Go ahead.
No, I think I thought my Ursa pushed up a little bit further than she actually did.
It doesn't matter, right? It doesn't matter if you think about it. Because even if she is the distraction here, he's still going to kill you. So you have two choices here. You pulse bomb immediately and disengage. Your other choice is to actually, shoot and then blink, right? You start to shoot, you don't blink, and then you get murdered, right? So the question is what was the plan here? Was it pulse bomb? If so, why didn't you pulse bomb? Was it clipping? If so, then why didn't you move?
Right.
So I think, like, how recent was this game?
Yesterday.
Yesterday. So I don't know if you remember exactly the position or the thoughts that you were going through your head at this point. If not, it's fine. But this is the second time now where you kind of died with Pulse Bomb versus the Zenyatta with, honestly, not a lot of clarity about, like, what the plan was. Both times you died with multiple blinks and recall, and it didn't even seem like you were really intending to use Pulse Bomb because, like, look at your clip, right? You clearly started to shoot first.
Yeah, I think I was trying to one-clip him and get out, and then I got, like, kicked and...
Right. But I think if you think about the reason why this one clip would never work, mostly, is not necessarily because of, oh, he just mechanic better than me. I mean, that's true. But also, like, look at the angle that you're at right now. This is not really an angle, right? He's already looking this way, so for him to turn his attention here, it's fine. If you were going to go for the one clip here, what would your blink be instead? So, like, let's say you gap close here. If you want to take the clip on this guy, where do you need to make him move his crosshair, realistically?
Completely around.
Completely around, or at least 20, 30, 40 degrees further, right? Like, this is simply too easy, right? And I think the important thing here is that I'm not saying this because the Zenyatta has shown himself to be mechanically proficient. I don't think that matters that much. We're not trying to identify the carry here. I don't care if this guy is bronze. Let's not give him the opportunity to just move his crosshair under a head with no effort at all. Move through him, like you said. Move deeper around, like you said. Because the reality is, like, for a one clip, a lot of is required is not just the ability to make him miss his shots, but you want to make him strafe predictably. He could strafe very unpredictably here. But if you go behind him, is he going to be thinking about strafing, or is he going to be thinking about turning?
Turning.
And that's it, right there. That's it right here. So we can argue the merits of going for the one clip here versus going for the pulse bomb, but to be honest with you, I don't really think it matters. I think the biggest thing is the way that you approach this duel was disrespectful to a Zenyatta of any rank. Does that make sense?
Yeah.
Okay. All right, let's keep going here. Any questions so far?
No.
Okay. Again, I want to compliment, like, some of the fundamentals that you've shown here are very encouraging, and so we want to keep leaning into those things. This is not all negative Nancy here. There's lots of good things that you're doing. The angles that you're taking, the patience that you take showing in 2v1s, even the timing with this, right? Now, here's a good question for you. What should you be shooting right now?
Ramatra.
Ramatra, why?
He's close.
Close, you got it, right? You've done your homework, right? You've done your homework, exactly. Just because you have Pulsum doesn't change the rules. You shoot Ramatra, guarantees you win the tank trade. Ramatra backs off. Now this means that your Orisa can take more space, which means that you are able to go for backline more comfortably because there's more follow-up. Now, obviously, we know here that the most important thing is your Ashe is dead.
Yeah.
Right? So really, you force your Ramatra out. You probably should chill for a second and then go, so. Sure. I wouldn't mind you committing here. I wouldn't mind you committing here. Like, your Orisa is clearly taking space here, so I wouldn't mind you continuing to play the game here. Now, you might be thinking this is scary, and my answer would be yes. But I don't care. You have 3 blinks, you have your pulse on, you have your recall. Your team is clearly committed to the fight. You need to be committed as well.
We didn't talk a lot, but like there were people in voice chat, and I think at this point we did kind of call to like kite that out because there's no point in going into the wall.
So this is where I say, okay, sure. If that's communicated, then you're absolutely right. Yep. I think this is also where, like, frankly, it's just disrespectful. This is fine. This is not fine. This right here, this clip right here is insane. Right? This is disrespectful.
Yeah.
Not just honestly to the Zenyatta, but even to the Ramattra. You just shouldn't be doing this, right? You need to blink to cover, and then think about your approach from there. And that disrespect really puts a freeze on your rotations. You notice that? It didn't kill you. It could have killed you. But I think there's just moments occasionally where you just got to shoot, right? We saw, actually, if you think about it, it's the first feedback I had for you. Remember the Zenyatta alternate fire and first point defense for him?
Yeah.
Same thing, right? It's that consistent moment where it's like, I just want to get that clip in. Nope, you got to move. You got to move. And I could tell when you're locked into a full duel, you're very respectful of that, right? I'm thinking about the Lifeweaver Mei on that second point attack in that Mega Room, remember? You did a great job in there. But it's in those down moments, right? When I'm just going to go for the one clip, or, I was kind of just poking a little bit, that sometimes that disrespect kind of creeps back in, and it really harms your output. Okay. Like, now, I am fairly confident. I hope I don't eat my words here. I'm fairly confident that you're going to give this Zenyatta respect because it just feels like a full duel, right? So here comes the blink. Here comes the blink. Yeah, you're going to recall. Like I said, war of attrition there. Now, to be honest with you, that's another situation where you should have blinked. But I will give you credit that you did give him mostly respect. This was much better than what we saw earlier. He just had over health from the Lifeweaver, and he also hit his shots, right? So if you look at this, he kind of came in here at 350 HP. I mean, any normal situation here, and you win this duel. You see what I'm saying? You needed to respect the alternate fire a little bit more, because remember, alternate fire for Zenyatta is an opportunity cost. Every time he charges it, he has a recovery animation after the alternate fire, which opens him wide open. So just keep that in mind. So if you see him or know that he is charging alt fire, and you enter this room here and you blink sideways, it's over. He's lost. It's over. But I think that this was much better than what we've seen earlier. And again, it's because it felt like a proper duel and not just kind of like a poking situation. I can see the urgency. I can see the urgency with the clock and how it's affecting you. I don't think this is super well staged. I don't love the target. Even just for space, it's not that great. I think you're just thinking, I have 15 seconds, I gotta go.
I think it was a mixture of that, and I saw that the Ramattra was like overextended, and I'm like, if we get this pick, we win.
Sure. But you're not even thinking about life rip at this point in time either, right?
Yeah, no, I wasn't.
Sure. Honestly, with you, mate, I would, again, mind if you just went through the left angle again, right? You've done really well through that. I'm not sure. Did you pivot to just mix things up here, or what?
I was told once, I suppose it probably doesn't apply now that I'm like saying this out loud, but I was told once to like not peek the same angle twice. And I think I might have confused that a little bit with like try not to take the same flank too many times, because then they get wise up to it, and that then they'll be like ready for you on that flank.
That's true when you can, but what's the alternative here? What's the other angle that you can take?
I think based off of my movement here, I was originally thinking of trying to swing right.
So basically hard flank. Yeah, hard flank. I mean, yeah, it's pretty far. Not just the rotation itself, but also a lot of open space here. So here's what I would say. I think that feedback is okay to have in the back of your mind. It's like an extra wrench. It can be useful at times, but it's not a hammer. The hammer here is take the short range off angle, take the short range lane. If it's predictable, okay, fine. But if it's good, we don't care. What you do is you can mix it up when you have two good choices here. You get what I'm saying? You don't have two good choices here. You have one good choice and one choice. You get what I'm saying? This is not a good choice. So what I would say is that, yeah, the predictability matters, but only if there is another really good option, and there isn't here. I think pressuring from this angle here, pressuring from this angle here. I mean, this is just, I mean, you know it. It's good. It's great. It's great for your character. It's good on this point. Keep that. So I'm not saying the other feedback is wrong. It's just something that you need to be cautious in applying.
Yeah.
Does that make sense?
Mm-hmm.
Okay. Okay. The important thing is, where do you go from here? And I like this. This is good. Close, but you did fine. Okay. Man, this Symmetra is getting some snipes. Good little mid-clip discipline there. Play your life, play your life. Woo! Play your life. Good stuff. Good stuff. Okay. Any questions so far?
No.
Let's stay on the Tracer train. If you want to go back and look at some Mei, I'm down.
I switched to Tracer again for second point. I only really stay at for
Oh
Mei
yeah,
for
so
the
one
first
fight.
point.
Okay, so yeah, there's not much to see here. What is she doing? Honestly, I understand. You were like, I don't think I need to recall because I got Mega. It's just knowing the matchup a little bit better, which would be one thing here. Give a bit of respect, right? This is the disrespect kind of creeping in again because you're like, oh, I could just clip. No, you can't. Stickies are murder. And then the next thing is, remember, this will heal the initial application, but a full sticky is still like, what, 180, 190? It will kill you.
I think I thought it would clear the stickies, and because it cleanses, I know, other effects.
It does. Yep, it does. It cleanses burn, but it won't cleanse the application. That's kind of the way to look at it. It's not a status effect. It is a physical projectile that's stuck on you. In the same way that it wouldn't cleanse a pulse bomb, right?
Right.
That's kind of the way to look at it. So yeah, I wouldn't worry about it. I think the main thing here is this is kind of a Zenyatta situation here where when you were presented with an easy-ish clip, even going back to that alt fire with Zen on the very first fight, you really want that clip. You really want that clip. But if they're looking right at you, almost without exception, the character isn't worth it. I don't care if it's freaking Ryan. I don't care if it's Lifeweaver. I don't care if it's Mei. You just got to give respect off that first blink. Make sense?
Yeah.
And this is where you could use your clip discipline that you've showed at times, right? So where you could start to shoot, bait the stickies, and then she's cooked, right?
Yeah.
And honestly, like, you could even disrespect a little bit of her primary fire as long as she misses those stickies. That's the big one. Okay. Good clip. Sure. Yep, good stuff. Good rotation from you. And this is where you don't need to respect, because why are you not blinking here?
She's not looking at me.
She's not looking at you, exactly. And she doesn't look at you at all. So you just play Soldier 76, but up close. Very nice fight from you, right? Very mechanically focused fight from you, because they didn't give you a lot of attention. But hey, well done. And I think also the rotations and movement from you to maintain proximity, you should feel really good about that. Feel really, really good about that. Well done. Yep, sure. Cheating, definitely. But hey, the opportunity was there. Go for it. Yep, good stuff. No recall, so chill. Chill, 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 chill. Good job. There it is. Probably blink here. Yeah. Honestly, unlucky. Go next. It happens. You know, this is a good blink. I mean, what on earth? You know, like your pixel peeked over the edge of the roof. Well done. It happens.
I think it was my jump that killed me.
Probably. Yeah, probably. But generally, that's not a huge major issue. Okay, I like this approach from you. Ooh, okay. Nice use of the tech and really nice execution. Dang, look at that. And no recall, too. Well done. Using your blink instead. Nice use of the blink, and then you cancel the hack. Then you get a nice recall here. A little bit of trigger discipline there. Man, this is clean from you. Well done. Oh my gosh. That's okay. That was a great fight from you. Really, really, really well done. You did all the good stuff there. Well done. Short angle. Checking your team's positioning. You're listening. Winston's up. Shoot a little Zarya. Nobody's looking at you, so you keep shooting. Now this is where, you know, yeah, you absolutely have to respect this. You really don't want to recall back in that room. Yep, good stuff. Yep, good stuff. I mean, man, this guy is murking you, right? It feels so bad.
Yeah.
And again, this is where you just have to give the guy respect a little bit because, again, I know he's fat and juicy, right? But you see this, your number one priority is dodging this. So this is really where the first next step here really needs to be that blink. You have really three directions. I think you're close enough to where you could blink through just barely, blinking right into the wall, blinking left out to the corner. Either one of these things is totally fine. And it seems like you think about it, but it's just after you finish the clip. And so there's a real chance of you getting picked off here. Now, if you blink through this guy, you're going to win. Oh, no. You got to use it. You got to use it. You see what I'm saying?
Like Kiriko bailed me out.
The Kiriko bailed you out, right? Like you got one blink. He uses that alt fire and misses. He's dead. He almost hit it on you. He almost hit it on you. Just it's those details, right? And the reason why I'm obsessing over this is how many times you're gonna be playing versus Zenyatta that's this aggressive and hitting this many shots. Not often, but this isn't about Zenyatta. This is about every character, right? It's about that respect off of their attention, abusing that first initial shot, using the tools in your kit. And yeah, not every character is going to be as attractive to shoot like Zenyatta, but it is a rule that you're going to have to follow with no matter what character you're dueling here. And I think there's a real danger here that we've seen at times where there's just a little bit of, I wouldn't say disrespect on purpose. It's just like, I really want to shoot, right? And it's costing you. Sure. A little awkward here in terms of your angle here.
I saw my Winston go in, I think.
Yeah, I got you. But I guess the question for me then is if you saw your Winston go in, then is this the angle that you'd want to play?
Not really.
Right? Like this would be much, I think here, frankly, kind of let him come in a little bit. Sit here and hide. Just look, let them walk in and then follow your Winston from there if you'd like to, because now you're out of tempo, right? So I think this is more of like I'm expecting them to fight there when they didn't actually fight there. Yep, just keep running. Go back and grab Mega. And then your short angle from here. Yep, this is good. I would stay in the Zarya. She should die for that. Just mechanics, right? Just mechanics, and I think the crucial thing is you got a little distracted by the Sombra. I understand, but I think you did correct the ship. Like, you shoot Zarya, and you're like, oh, Sombra, and you're like, oh no, she's too far. I need to stay on this Zarya. But that crucial clip
that... gonna hack.
Yeah, that's understandable. But obviously, like that brief distraction here, and then obviously the zoning blizzard, is why the Zarya lives there. And like one trade here is crucial. So it happens. We'll move along next. Good patience here. Nobody's looking at you, so you're going to be nice and patient. Keep shooting. A little bit of clip discipline there. I'm liking the mechanics. I would probably just go next here. Yeah, cut. Be patient. Where's my team here? I think you're probably going to get cleared here with where your team is at. So be very careful. Because I think your team is a little far back. She's definitely there. Yeah, I was going to say.
Thank you.
Yep, play your life. This is okay. I think this is okay. I was waiting for this to happen, you know? I think the main thing for me here would be then where are you directing your disengage, right? So then if you can use the last blink here to go back towards your team, to be honest with you, I think it's okay.
I think I expected my team to play that first corner, and then they didn't, so they were able to swing in on me.
Yep, I agree. I will say, though, that is something that we've already seen earlier, with the not the previous fight, the fight before that with the Winston. There's an expectation we're going to fight on that choke. Oh wait, no, we're not. And I think if you've taken the time to maybe look, to be honest with you, like it's tough either way. Like their comp is a lot better for this point than yours is. But I think this is where instead of, let's see, where would you have done it? Right here. This is probably all the information that you need to know that I should probably give up a little bit more space because this, you see this? This is the big highlight for me. It's not just where my team is, it's also my Ana's in spawn, right? To be honest with you, I think the mistake, the enemy team should push you way sooner. Way sooner than this. This is where simply moving to this angle here would have made literally a night and day difference. Or even here, right? Just hold here instead. So just, again, angle in relation to where my team is. That's the key thing here. And I think you would have made that decision if you had paid a little bit more attention to where your team was set up. Because your team does walk forward, but your Ana just got here, essentially. I mean, she's been booking it, but she's a grandma, you know? She's got her walker, so give her some time.
Yeah.
Yeah, sure. I think you could argue here that I know that you're chasing Sombra, but I actually think that you're kind of already in a situation here where you probably should just go ahead and commit to this angle and lane here. Why? Don't think about it from like a strategy standpoint. Think about it from just like basic positioning. What's wrong with where you're at right now?
I had to blink over there.
Partly. It's partly convenience, right? But that's the big one, right? It's not just because if you think about it, one blink isn't really that much of a commitment. I actually don't think it's that bad. Because even if you were to go here, it would still also take one blink. The difference is the quality of the angle. This is cheeks, right? This is not. Right? Yeah. So I actually think from like a convenience standpoint, like the thing that I'm always yapping about, I actually think this is okay. The problem is that it is something that can be fully supported. And as you can see, this is not comfortable for you at all. That's the problem, right? So whereas here, this is where you blink to this position here. From this position, 1-2 blinks. I mean, you're going to be here for a long time, especially with that pulse bomb, right? So I just think the choice. I think you need to commit to your lane, commit to your angle, instead of chasing somebody out. That's going to put you in a bad spot because I'm expecting you to get grabbed or blizzarded or hacked or focused, and you notice that you never really got the ability to stabilize. You never really had that cover. You never really had the opportunity to even go for the pulse bomb. And I think that's just because of the position that you chose. Okay, let's keep going here. Any questions so far?
Not really.
Okay, let's keep rolling. I'm okay for the same rotation here. Yeah. Let's keep rotating. I would have liked the rotation sooner, frankly. And by rotation, I don't necessarily mean completely flanking, but just like at least dropping and sniffing things out from here, right? And then rotating from here.
Yeah.
Sigma can be really annoying, as you can see, so just commit. You know what's funny is with all my compliments to your positioning, I do think that we were in a similar situation on your first attack, remember? The same exact spot. There's like some hesitation to rotate here.
It's like I never really know where to go from up here.
Yeah, it's awkward, right? Because you do feel like anything here feels very exposed. Experiment with this drop here. See what happens. Get a little information and go, okay, maybe I don't want to go there. Maybe I actually want to take the time to wrap, right? Deeper flank and go from here instead. Maybe this Sigma vacates, right? And then you can actually drop and flip here. I don't think there's an easy solution here, but I don't like the fact that there's not been an easy solution. So you've done really bad things, right? I would have preferred you to be more creative, more experimental from these positions, right? Try different things. Maybe I could triple blink back here versus the Sigma. And basically play for my fourth blink to disengage. Maybe I can get him to chase me. Can I live if I have good cover here? I don't know. Give it a shot. Is it worth taking the downtime to rotate around? Is dropping here going to be that much of an improvement, right? I don't know. Give it a shot. But this sucks. And I think like what I want to highlight here is this isn't going to be the difference between you getting to diamond, right? But there are obviously going to be multiple different points like this across all the maps that you play, right? Where I don't really quite know where my rotation options or where my positional options are. And if you want to talk about like habits that are going to get you to rank up, to improve, there should never be an excuse for this kind of stuff, ultimately, right? Whenever you have an awkward point, I want you to pull up the replay code and I want you to think. And I don't want you to come up with a solution. I want you to come up with options to try. Okay, I really don't know what I'm supposed to do here, but what if I tried that? What if I tried that? I really struggle with Busan downtown, right? It's very open. It's very exposed. I get that Widow in the high ground. I can't touch her. I rotate right, but then they just mark me. Like, what can I do? Is it worth going deep left ever? Is it worth going to point? I don't know. That's where you're really going to level up as a player, is not just with following my VOD reviews and doing exactly what I tell you to, but developing your own systems and your own structure on difficult points, on difficult hard. Like, if you were to VOD review yourself here, you tell me. What do you think makes the most sense? We talked about dropping right sooner. We talked about flanking deep right. We talked about assaulting the Sigma directly and just getting behind him because you have so many blinks. What one do you like the most here? From this point?
I think the easiest would be honestly drop beneath me, and then I can shoot the sim.
Okay.
Help my sim clear them out.
Yeah. And then what?
The other option is to blink over to the right, kind of where I did the last time.
Yeah. So deeper, or no, here, right?
Yeah.
Yeah. Which one do you like the most with the information that you had right now? Which is, I think you knew Sim was here and you knew most people were over here. What do you like the most?
I think dropping down to that doorway to shoot the sim.
And then where would you go from here? Now what?
Then go right to where the monkey is.
Yeah, and I think from here, and then obviously like you have a really nice deepen opportunity here. You don't have to stay here. 1, 2, 3, right? Yeah. You nailed it. I agree with that. That's good. It's good. So go try that out, right? If you're ever stuck in this situation again. Good stuff. Sure? There's just no way, man. There's no way. That is crazy. TP bomb on a Pharah. You don't see that often. And then obviously you're worried about touch here, so we won't over critique it. Let's keep going here.
Yeah. I think I just play May for this.
Yeah, okay. All right, I'm gonna gamble. Busan, you said, yeah?
Yeah.
Okay. We're good. I was scared there for a second. Because if you leave, you get slammed on. Okay. Any questions so far?
Not really, no.
Chat, let's talk 2 things that we've seen so far. A little bit of disrespect on juicy clips. I don't think it's purposeful disrespect. I don't think it's conscious disrespect, but you are often prioritizing your mechanics over your movement about half the time. I could see there's conscious effort occasionally. I really see it, and you see the results, right? Every time that you put conscious effort, your result immediately improved, right? But there's sometimes where it's just like, oh man, you died there completely unnecessarily, or you almost died there completely unnecessarily. Okay, that's number 1. Number 2 is occasionally not choosing the angle that makes sense with where your team is positioned. That's only happened a few times, so it's worth pointing out. And finally is those awkward moments where the rotations, the positions, you're not really sure where to go, so there's not a decisive enough adjustment from you, okay? I think there's a lot of things that you're doing well. I think your mechanics look good. I think when you're focused on your blink usage, it looks good. I think you do a good job of choosing what to shoot with where you can see. So in other words, your target priority is good because you just shoot what's available from your position. Great work. And I also would want to say that there are moments where your mechanics in terms of how you're blinking and going for blink pulses, and it shows an overall level of comfort with the character. No questions?
Not really. I think this one will be a little bit more interesting because that one I had... there were some good parts where I felt like I did well, and then I wasn't sure why we drew. And then this one was much harder, I feel.
Yeah. Busan downtown. That's hilarious. What are the odds?
Yeah.
Okay, there you go. Good initial rotation from here. It's probably always going to be a good initial rotation. Just contest what's there or shoot backline. Like that right there is kind of one of those moments, right? Like, I love the angle from you. You're doing a good job baiting attention. This Ryan shield is slowly being whittled down. All you really need to do here is just give the enemy team a lot of respect, keep the backline here, play, ring around the rosy with here and here and here. just don't die. This guy's slowly getting whittled down, right? Like, he is not winning this HP trade at all. I mean, look at this. This is garbage, right? And he's even dropping his shield. The problem here for you is right here. You don't need to do this. This isn't going to work. And even though you're like, well, I didn't die for it. Yes, you got punished. You see it? You got punished.
Yeah.
Because it wasn't even the Zen shooting you, but it was while you're locking into that Genji or that Zenyatta. The Genji gets you. The Zen almost hits you. And it's just really just like, be aware of the attention that you're getting right now, right? You could go, well, I'm going to blink in and then blink behind, clip, and then recall from there. And you know what? I think that's insane. But at least it's respectful. You got me?
Yeah.
Yeah, at least you get value for the risk. Like, let's be honest. If you did that, the Genji probably dashes, the Ana probably nades. Okay. The other option here is just to kind of not peek at all, or peek and then blink back, and then blink out, and then blink here, and right? And that's the more conservative option. My point being is whether you want to play this aggressively or whether you want to play this conservatively, either way, you always give respect to the poke with how you position and how you use your blinks. Does that make sense?
Yeah.
Because you're doing a good job with your positioning here. I have no problems with your positioning. It's what you're doing with your blinks when you're getting the attention. And to be clear, even if the Genji wasn't here, even if the Ana wasn't here, if you were 1v1ing a Zen, you would never peek like this. Never. You'd peek, and then you do something. You kind of bait the shot, and then you do something. Does that make sense?
Yeah.
So I have confidence that you'll, get value out of what you're doing, right? Case in point, right? Good job. And that Rein is still losing a lot of HP. You're still controlling the angle, and you're going to win this fight most likely. I mean, look at the space that you guys have, right? Like, you have consistently, this entire screen section has always been yours. So there's always been, really, there's been no pressure on your backline this entire game, thanks to you. But that one fight, like, that could be, you die immediately to that Zenyatta, to that Genji, and then the entire fight goes differently.
Yeah.
That being said, good target priority, good positioning, good stuff. And we even get the recolor of the good skin. So, 3 for 3. Nice job. I think this positioning is good. Why?
It gives me a lot of options.
Gives you a lot of options, but also, what was your big mistake in Blizzard World occasionally? Positioning in relation to your team. How is that right now?
My team is fighting in this choke.
Exactly. So this is perfect. I even love your awareness here to check your flank. Okay, I don't want to get flanked here. And then obviously target priority here, right? Just freaking shoot the Ryan. This poor guy. Respect. Blink back. Oh my gosh. You're crazy. You know what? At least you're consistent, right? We're noticing the issue here, right? We're noticing the issue. This is why I said it's not just about Zenyatta, right? This is like, I mean, this guy is literally on your head. You have 3 blinks and a recall, and you're just like, oh, dopamine, I got to keep getting that damage in, right? There has to be more respect here.
The headshot sound is very satisfying.
That's true. But we're noticing a common pattern here, which is really, really good to see, because this shows that your path to improvement will be maybe a little bit simpler than it is for some players. But again, I have no problems with your target priority. You went Rein, Genji came to you, so you pivoted to Genji. You're controlling all the right angles. You're even paying attention to where your team is. But my goodness gracious, this Genji this is like shooting practice range bots. This is like the rage bait people do for new heroes in the practice range, but it's you. Oh, look at Genji. He's so broken. You know what I'm saying? Like, you didn't even press a single button on your clip. Or on your kit, excuse me. Rotation here is good. There's a small chance here. Yeah, I mean, this is great, There's a small chance here because of the space that you guys control. I mean, this is classic plat, right? Like, everybody rushes the point, and so it's, despite the fact that you're 3v5 here, there's actually a chance that you win this.
This one's a gold one, actually.
Gold one. Okay, fine.
Well, yeah, gold game, not gold one.
Oh, I see. A gold game. It's weird. Like, you're like, oh, Genji's on me. I'm going to blink out. It's funny. It's like you almost have to die to show respect. But you know what? It works, right? Look at the attention. Yeah. They all fall back. They chase you. Look at your HP. Your HP is basically full. Zen's not looking at you, so you just finish the clip. You blinked there even though the Genji wasn't even looking at you. I mean, I don't hate it, right? Like, this fight is still winnable. Pulse bomb that. Yeah, he's dead. Nicely done. It's incredible what you... Okay, I almost complimented you there. It's incredible what you do when you are respectful. Yeah. What excellent fight from you. Excellent fight for you. You're the world's best tracer when people don't look at you.
Feels that way.
That's all right. That's all right. All right. Rotate left. Yes, thank you. This is a better angle with where your team is. Team is more towards point. You might need to back off, honestly, even further than this because your risk is really low. Yeah, I think you're realizing that. This is all right. We should be okay here. I'm going to cut you some slack here. This is incredibly awkward with how little space your team is controlling. They are like really focusing you down and like you're not getting like any help at all. I honestly think here, I think it would have been okay for you to, okay, yeah, I mean, this is the blink that killed you, right? I know what you were intending to do. It was blink here and then blink here and you probably would have been okay.
Yeah.
It happens.
My hope was to hit if the Mega would come back in time.
Yeah. To be honest with you though, like you still got out, right? Like this is still great value, right? So,
yeah.
And by great value, I don't mean the Walmart brand. I mean this is actually good, you know. So, yeah, this is good. This is good. I mean, I even like the ego there, right? He's not even looking at you, so just keep shooting. I like this rotation from you. Would have preferred probably a deeper angle here instead, just to kind of... You're already here, so you might as well go here instead. And then here, you're kind of thinking, you know, we've kind of lost the fight here, so I might as well go for a one clip and see what happens. So you could blink behind here if you want to guarantee the one clip. I say that as it gets soldiered. Man, this is actually winnable. I can't believe I'm saying that, but this is winnable. If you hold this angle here and get any follow-up... Okay. We're not going to talk about that.
Yeah.
But really, though, that was a good fight from you. Much better fight. Sure. Give it a shot. Why not? Short range off angle.
Sorry, just wait until you see my pulses this game.
Okay. Just because it's your last blink, I don't really know if I want you to pulse this. I don't know if I want you to tuck back in here, buy a second, make them walk into you, 180, pulse, recall, and then you'll have that next blink in time. I mean, I'm getting really nitpicky with the micro here, right? I mean, there it is, right? That's kind of what I was looking for. I mean, that's it exactly, right? The reason why pulling them at the point was good is because it bought you that extra time for that next blink, right? Rather than forcing it out.
Yeah.
And then here... just being a little bit respectful. And please be respectful here. He's looking for that dash. Okay. I know it's tricky with Genji because you're like, do I really lose that duel? But, I mean, you can. I think especially post-Season 9, it is much easier for him to hit his shurikens on you. I think he benefits more from that exchange than you do, depending on the range. So just be really cautious.
Yeah.
Good stuff. I mean, really good stuff at times. It's hard to say it, but I think what we have here is we go from, you know, multiple fights where your general rotations and your mechanics really do a good job carrying for you, and then like that occasional fight where you just don't use a cooldown at all, and you just die. Like first fight, horrible, right? Like really quite bad. It almost cost you, right? The fight after that, even worse, right? But then if you remove those two fights and just play the back half of that round, I'm guessing high plat. I'm gonna be honest with you. I really am. So, you know, this is kind of like the trade-off here. It's that consistency. But when we talk about consistency, it's not like some vague psychological concept. It's just you don't make a good choices always when they look at you. I think that's the best way of looking at it. Okay, there's the Torb swap. We'd love to see it.
Yeah, no, this is where things really get rough.
So, this is more of a macro thing. You know, we haven't talked as much about macro with you because it's been pretty good. But I think that this rotation from you could have been a little bit better, just given the map. So you know Torb, I can take a short range off angle on Torb. But this is where you got to start considering the sandwich. This is not great. You can see it makes you really uncomfortable. If there was like, okay, let's put it this way. If there was like a big block, like right here, just a big pile of wood, right? I think you're okay. There's not. I don't think you're okay. That's kind of the way to look at it. There isn't really a safe short-range off angle to shoot from this point without actually being on point. Do you see that? This space here is suicide for you. This space here is suicide for you. This space here is suicide for you. So really the only thing that you can do is approach from here and harass from these angles here, or maybe harass from these angles here. Other than that, this just feels very difficult. I like how you played the Torb 1v1. You did a good job, but I really think at this point in time, you got to be thinking, okay, what's the next step? Because this, you can see, this doesn't work. This doesn't work. You see that?
Yeah.
So sadly, I think the solution here is you're going to need to flank, just based off the space that they're taking. And if it makes you feel any better, their composition on this map, this is going to be hard. This is going to be hard.
Yeah.
And this is better because they've walked 2 points. So, you know, here's your short range off angle, right? You're not getting sandwiched anymore.
Yeah.
This is fine. Like, this Torb has popped overload and is staring at you. I don't know if you know that. The BAP is looking for you as well. This is fine. You want to see something funny? Watch this. Watch this. I'm overloading. Okay, so, you know, you're getting good value here, right? Like, that's a 2v1. That's a 2v1 you lived. You held it for a while. You broke turret. You know, your team just freaking died, so, okay. I would start applying pressure now. You could definitely hear combat happening. Yeah, this is better. If they push you, this is exactly what you want. That way you don't have to flank. You can just kind of keep their attention. Yeah, this is good. Look at the respect that you're doing with your blinks as well.
I know that neither of these are characters I really want to have a fair 1v1 with.
Yeah. Well, here's the thing: is there's not juicy one clips on these characters, right? I think that's the key thing, right? I don't. The Genji is not exactly a juicy one clip, so maybe that analogy doesn't really stand. But it at least feels like there is some legitimate fear, and when you're scared, I like how you play because you actually don't. The thing is some people when they're scared, they don't do damage. They just do nothing, right? When you're scared, you do damage. You keep going, but there's just that respect, and you can see it with your blinks. Like you're squeezing every ounce of value. I mean, look at this, right? This is insane. You've been 2v1ing for how long? I want to actually count the seconds here. You have been 2v1ing and comfortably taking the trade, right? Like actually doing damage, not just like distracting. Okay, so 6:18, 6:25, 10 seconds. I mean, how long does this go? Like, holy crap. 30 seconds. 30 seconds. 30 seconds, okay? They pop Kitsune Rush, and your team is in spawn, and you're winning. This is great, mate. This is really, really well done. I know this doesn't feel good, and you know this is just kind of how it goes versus these characters, but you should feel really good about this. This is excellent. This is excellent.
This is one of those times where I'm just like, what is my team doing?
Oh, I agree. So this is one of those. This might be one of those games to an extent where your team trolls. Right, let's not be honest. Let's be honest, right? I'm looking for stuff, bad habits that you have that might troll games. Like, for example, the Blizzard World game, right? Your mistakes are why you lost that game, right? Like, you had impact here. The previous round, those habits didn't cost you the round, but they could have. I look at this here, and I really, really actively despise your team's composition. Like, I don't think it almost possibly could be worse. You're counterpicking the tank, and you're exposing yourself to their composition. Like BAP, Torb, Sim, just dunk on your composition essentially. But for you, this is okay. I mean, would it have mattered in the end result? No, but I will say again, you died with 2 blinks and a recall. You kind of got tapped. Like, watch this from his perspective. I want you to watch it from his perspective. You know? I mean, that's a one-shot, right? And he didn't even make it hard.
Yeah.
So, would it have changed the result? No, but that's, again, not why we're here. We're looking for common things that are going to apply to all of your gameplay. And we've seen, what, 30 minutes almost of your Tracer gameplay across 2 maps in different compositions? This is not a surprise. Okay, how you approach this is going to be very important. Yep. That's a little bit of respect there. It's not perfectly executed, but you're also not full HP either. But like you're like, oh, I got a blink. Yep. Sure. It's a little awkwardly done from you, but you had the right idea. Frankly, don't bother. Don't bother. That's more of a micro thing. Don't bother. It's got a lot of HP right now, and unless they're actively using it, it's not worth your time. Nice. Team shows up.
Yeah.
Good stuff. They'll show up. They will. I think the hardest part for you here is that they have, counterpicked you, but also counterpicked your team. And ironically, your team actually swapped into the picks. they actually went and allowed themselves to be counterpicked. But it happens. Okay, good use of your ears here. This is obviously pretty spooky. Yeah, and you need to gamble here.
Hey, lose back my blinks.
Yeah. Okay, so the big thing here. Here's the big thing here. We want to get about fundamentals here. This is just silly. This is really where you screwed up.
Yeah.
And by the way, this is a common problem with you. What's the mistake here?
I want to get my clip off.
You want to get your clip off, right? That's number one. But this, from a positioning standpoint, doesn't make sense. Why?
My team's not there.
Your team is not here. Your team is angled around point or a point adjacent, right? Like at the very least, you want to let them walk to here. So if you're going to be here, you'd either be hiding or you'd be holding an angle like here or you'd be holding an angle like here, right? So once again, you're like, okay, yeah, the blink is awkward. My team dies immediately. But the reason your team dies immediately is because this is really when we need you to apply angle pressure. And you're like, but it's a 1-for-1, right? Well, yeah, kind of. But I want more of that from you. I want more than that from you, right? And frankly, the Kiriko is able to position herself for value sooner than you are here. You see this? So
yeah.
You not only get 1-for-1 with an ultimate, but also she's contributing, you're not. And I think that's the key thing here. It is a detail, but it is a consistent detail, and it is brutal here. Like, basically, I have zero faith in your team's ability to survive this if the Pulsum isn't here now. If the Pulsum isn't here now. And to be honest with you, I would go as far to say, don't even worry about Suzu or Lamp. Just get it on the floor right now. Force the cooldowns, force the distraction, force the chaos, and then use that chaos to allow yourself the position to apply pressure from here. But the most important thing is you were too early. You're too eager for that clip. You lost a good position. You lost a good angle. You're now late to the fight. I mean, this is a pretty good clip from you, right? Like, even jumping over her head so you don't have to worry as much about the mechanics. But, like, you miscounted your blinks there. It happens. But, like, that's the final choke. But that's not what I'm worried about, right? Ultimately, this fight was lost before that pulse bomb even went out. Make sense?
Yeah.
Okay, so two things. Position in relation to your team. We need consistency with that. And then when you give respect with your blinks to enemy teammates, or enemy teammates, I say enemies, things look great. When you don't, things don't look so good. Once again, any questions so far?
No.
Now, I like your team's comp a lot better here. I think the matchup feels a bit better, so we'll see how things go. This is an awkward point for Tracer, just the verticality. Frankly, or even the disrespect here. Not here, because you had this in mind, right? But frankly here, I mean, that's a one-shot. There's a one-shot potential here, right? Now, it would take a good hog to do so, but he doesn't need to hit the full clip to do some serious damage here. So even that blink feels a little bit slow. You see what I'm saying?
Yeah.
I get that this first fight feels awkward. I think, you've done a pretty good job overall, kind of moving around and angling. I would prefer, instead of here, if you do want to deepen, blinking through to here if you can. Just a bit of a deeper angle, a little bit more consistent. But even this here is, I think I'm okay with it. Like, I think it's all right. You're still getting good pressure and still getting good damage. Okay, they start to give you attention. You respect it. I mean, this is kind of where your composition feels so much better, right? I mean, look at the... Oh, yeah. No. Yeah, hey, you know what? You're consistent, right?
Yeah. I think I chalked it up to a slow reaction there.
Yeah. Man, this is not a fun composition to play Tracer into.
No, but I figured I had this coming today, so I was like, I might as well just stick with it.
Yeah. I mean, this is kind of one of those situations where it's like, you know, it basically this is the way that I look at it. This is going to be the composition that really proves to you of whether you've learned your lesson, right? You know, you look at how much value you were able to get in the previous round holding two, I wouldn't say counters, but Torb and Sem are definitely annoyances, right? And how long you're able to hold their attention, how much value you're able to get that even your brain dead team could get out of the choke, right? So any mistake here, Kiriko headshot. Any mistake here, Bap clip. Any mistake here, Sim orb. Any mistake, Torb headshot. So it's not. If we're trying to win this game, you probably should swap off of Tracer, especially given the map. Okay. If you're looking for a VOD that's going to highlight your errors with zero remorse, this is it. Right. This is it. So I think your reasoning is sound. Yep. I mean, this is good space. I mean, we talk about making your Reinhardt's life easy. Getting these characters here, that's really good, right? It's really, really, really good. And I actually think you guys can win this off of this now. Let's see here. It's just a bad blink in terms of direction, right? Needed to be off to the side a little bit. I like what you're doing in terms of trying to gap close, but obviously not the best chance of success. And this is just, again, just more of the micro. Like, you're kind of turning the corner into sim orbs pretty consistently. Like, right, bam, same thing, right? This is a duel you need to win even without recall. Make sense?
Yeah.
Your positioning's fine. Like, this is a 1-for-1 that you should be winning. And either get the... Okay, sure. But even just pulling Kiri back, pulling Tor back, kind of like you did earlier, would be kind of the expectation. I don't think you have to over-worry about this, though. I think with where you were at, this is a good angle, but I don't think you realize that. Because as you're kind of walking back up this choke here, I mean, they're right there, right? Right there. You could just take that.
Yeah. It's hard to say how much communication is in these games, but I think someone in voice chat actually called go to point.
I see. Okay, so in that situation, to be honest with you, don't listen. Just get value. Get value. If point is adjacent to you, then sure, but it's not. So this just feels inconvenient. I mean, this angle's still fine. Oof. Good shatter. You guys have, I think, have the more consistent ult game. Oh dear, what is your Juno doing? I mean, clips like that, I'm like, that's why we've been sniffing plat, right? It's good mechanics. Junkrat, yeah. Awesome.
Yeah,
this is fine.
Better.
Yeah. Yeah, this is fine. This is fine. You can just literally just stand here and shoot.
All right, get right to see my Light Weaver kill me.
I'm ready for it.
Here we go.
Oh, to be honest with you, mate, okay, so this is me being very nitpicky, but this is one of those situations where I think you need 3 blinks for this pulse to work. Based off of what you can kind of see on your screen here.
Yeah, looking at this now, it feels silly.
Yeah, I see the vision, right? You had recall. I'm not gonna go crazy. You know, it happens, and it obviously it leads to this legendary clip. So I think you would have robbed the world of, honestly, artistic beauty if you had not gone for that. So thank you. It
probably was a vision.
Yeah. Angle here's good. I don't think this fight is winnable, but you can kind of chip away and. Yeah, I mean, if he's just not going to respect you, then, you can just keep shooting. I don't know if this fight's winnable. Big thing here is to touch and leave. Yep, nice. That recall came out just in time. Good bit of trigger discipline there. Oh, that sucks. I think you missed the people on their back just a little bit.
Missed.
Yeah, this is it. You're cooked. Okay, I mean, consistency, right? This is consistently an issue with your gameplay so far, with your Tracer specifically, is really your blink respect with when people give you attention. And initially, I had thought that it was more related to Zenyatta, and I still do think it's related to how juicy the clip is. It is attractive for you. But we've seen it with, honestly, all types. We've seen it with Hog. We've seen it with Torb. We've seen it with Sem. We've seen it with Kiriko as well, right? We've seen it with freaking Genji, of all people, right? Is the pursuit of your clip compromises your life, your resources, and your uptime, gets you killed, clears you out. When you are honest, when you are respectful, I won't even use the term fearful, but when you are respectful, your level of play dramatically increases. You actually are fairly accurate with your blinks even. Most of the time when we work on this with a gold or a plat tracer, there's a lot of blinking into walls. You did your share of that, but I think less so than I would have expected for a player of your rank. So I think the potential is okay. Like we just need to keep practicing it, but you have to keep that in mind. The other two things, I will do an order of importance from what we saw, is, well, first off, do you have any questions with that? I don't want to just move on.
Not really.
Okay, so we'll say blink respect / consistency in duels pressure situations. Be cautious about tunneling on damage. Okay, next one is going to be your positioning angles in relation to your team's position. Question really of timing is what it is. It's not that the angle itself is on the paper bad. It's usually fine, but you mistime your pressure in relation to your team as a result. Okay. Final one would be on awkward positions, map spots, practice, experimentation. Does that make sense?
Yeah.
All right. Do you have any questions? We'll go through your form here really quickly. Otherwise. Right. So I'm going to be honest with you, mate. All that being said, I do think that even if I were to like nitpick and highlight the issues in your gameplay, if you played like you did in these games, even with all the mistakes, even with all the egregious errors, I would expect mid to high plat consistently from you. Okay. So what I'm curious about is what the frick is wrong. Is that how you consistently play? And if not, why?
I feel like it might be like upper, slightly above average, like average, like, you know, like not like where I'd say that it's like absolute best games.
Yeah.
But like, you know, I like looked at both of those games and like the Blizzard World one, like, you know, I did well and then it's just like it fell apart, it feels like at some point. And then like the Busan one, like, yeah, it just feels like sometimes it's out of my control, and I know it's part of it is to like wants to blame the teammates, but like I've been sitting in gold for at this point it's like around 2 seasons.
Yeah.
And I don't know if my early like speed of ranking up has like negatively done it, because I know people have set in, but like I climbed from bronze to silver in one season, generally just on my own, and then silver to gold in another season, like when I started watching videos and stuff, and then I've been kind of stuck here since. Yep.
I'm gonna be honest with you, mate. The problem is you. I mean, you know that, right? And you know that, and it's not, you know, the account or the speed or anything like that. I mean, when you do place a new account, because of the volatility and because you haven't played as many games, I think what would happen is if you played both accounts consistently for another 100 games, the rank would probably be very similar as a result of that. But so here's my question for you, and it is a completely open-ended question, and it might be a personal question, okay? When you don't play well, when you don't train well, when you don't train with the right mentality, when you don't go in with intensity, when you don't go in there with focus, when you go in there frustrated, why? Why? Are you consistent with your warm-up schedule? Are you consistent with your playtime? Do you play tilted? Do you play through lost streaks? Do you get distracted by teammates' performances? Right? Because I want to move your attention away from what would have won Blizzard World. I do think that your play had a significant impact on that game. And I don't want to think about Busan either, because like I think that like optimally you could have played better and maybe won that game too. Because obviously, but like basically if we pull your gameplay out from those games just as it is and plug it into 100 games, you're going to get to mid-high plat with that. So the answer is that you don't play like that consistently, even though that wasn't, like you said, your peak gameplay. That was like average, above average, right? Okay, so then when you don't play like that, with that level of intensity, that level of focus, why?
I think sometimes I get frustrated when I'm not performing well, or like if I die to something that I suppose is considered like cheesy, I think
Yeah,
I can get exceptionally frustrated on it. Like when I die to just Junkrat spam because they're like
yeah,
spamming my position, that's like
right.
frustrating. And
And I wonder how much of that is correlated with, moving away from mentality. You look at that first point, right? Your blink respect and your blink consistency. I wonder if that directly leads to you dying more to cheesy, crappy things. You kind of see what I'm saying?
yeah.
Where you create your own problem, because you are right. You are putting in more effort than that Junkrat. Like, let's be honest, okay? We don't have to sit here and pretend that that's not the case. It is. You're putting in more effort. It's dumb, okay? I'm annoyed. But you got to get better. You got to get better. You're allowing these things to happen to yourself. And then, obviously, as you pointed out, when that does happen, well, now you're not even practicing properly anymore. Now you're just tilted. Now you're upset. So I'm not here to call you out on that, necessarily, and make you feel bad about it. What I'm asking you to do is you need to put some thought into some habits, actions that you can do to deal with that. And the first one, the obvious one is, hey, be better with your blinks. Ha, 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 ha. But that's just surface level, right? Because you're going to have more problems, right? You're going to maybe rank up the platinum and get better at that and rank up the diamond. And then once again, you're going to have cheese, or you're going to have a difficult map or a difficult situation. So you need to think about personal habits here, right? What are some things that you could do to mitigate or prevent future problems from happening? Because that frustration is going to happen. It's going to come. So what can you do differently that you're not doing or not doing consistently right now?
Getting up and walking around.
Do you do that right
Especially
now consistently?
not consistently, but
Okay.
I think in general it seems to do help when I have like something that's like a crushing loss where it feels like I should have won that. Just kind of getting up and at least walking around while I'm in queue can definitely help clear my head and like help me recenter because it kind of takes me away from the game for a little bit.
Yep. Okay. So let's put that one. Take being more consistent with breaks, short breaks between games, and I'll go further than that. Don't even wait for a frustrating game. Take preventative action. You have a great game. Take a break. Seriously, like preserve your intensity, preserve your focus for longer. All right. Are you consistent with your playtime? Are you consistent with your warm up?
I've been more consistent with my warm up lately.
Good.
I generally do like 3 minutes in like a custom Vaxta, just focusing
Yep.
on trigger discipline.
Uh huh. Uh-huh.
And then I'll do that for about 3 to 5 minutes. I did a couple tryhard FFAs like over the past couple of days for like my warm ups yesterday. That's what I did. Kind of hard with the ping difference,
It
but
is. What is it,
it's
like
still
110, 120?
110, 120. Although I kind of got used to it by the end. So I still think it was a good experience.
And I also think that that's going to be like, you would talk about putting you under the fire for that first point. Oh boy, you're going to have to get really good at your blink respect versus those players, because they're going to be platinum plus almost 100% of the time. Yeah. Right, all the way up to grandmaster and sometimes even pro players. So, that's going to be exceptional. And so if the ping you're able to kind of get over it, then 100%. I don't know if those lobbies are always available, but it's the best place to practice that with Tracer. The best.
Yeah. So yeah, no, that's generally what my warm up is I'll do that. It used to be a couple of quick plays, but then I kind of transitioned away from that because I saw your video where you said that wasn't the best thing for it.
It depends. I think warm up is really personal focus, but if you do enjoy try hard and you do in fact so you feel the value out of it, then I do think that it's technically optimal.
My warm up's more about just trying to get my aim where I need it so that I can actually consistently hit shots, and then I feel like the rest just kind of comes over the course of a game.
Agreed. Okay, so that's that. Playtime consistency is something to keep an eye on. The time with which you're playing, your sleep, right? Your ability to emotionally regulate and apply yourself. Your consistency at applying goals in game, like going into a game with a specific goal in mind, right? And I do think one very small variable that might be worth looking at is your May play as well, because how much May are you playing in relation to your Tracer?
This season, a little bit more May, I think, than Tracer. They're kind of like even-ish. I don't remember them
55,
off the top of my
45,
head.
60, 40, 50, 50, somewhere floating around
Yeah,
there.
this season it's
Yeah.
kind of been Tracer, Mei, and Sojourn.
Okay.
Because Tracer just kind of feels like she's in a bad spot right now
Mm-hmm.
with how the meta is.
Mm-hmm.
Things just don't die sometimes.
Yeah, I don't think there's you could put out consistent pressure, but it's not there's not like those spikes in value with the heroes that are popular right now. Okay, that's fine. I guess the question that I would have, and obviously we didn't have time to look at it today, is like what's the level of your Mei play, right? How consistent are your mechanics? What is your wall utility? How is your angles, your positioning, your ult value, etc. Right, because it may be that your Mei is just a little bit worse than your Tracer. In fact, do you have your Overwatch pulled up right now? I assume it's probably a patch, but I would be
I
curious.
can't pull it up.
Okay, that's fine. I'd be curious to see your win rate between the two, this season and the season before.
Actually, I can also do that because I've been keeping track of my wins for map win data,
Yep.
which is why I figured out why I hate Rialto. Because I can't win on it. I have a 61% win rate on Mei this season, and then I have 54.5 on Tracer.
Okay, so your Mei is probably not a problem in terms of your rank.
Yeah.
Probably not
No,
a
my
problem.
Mei feels like it's better or more consistent at least than my
Okay.
Tracer.
Final point of experimentation here is map comfort. I think Busan was okay. I think there was that one point on first fight where everything was kind of far away and you really didn't know what to do, so you went to point, not good. That one point on Blizzard World first attack, didn't know what to do, kind of hovered on high ground, also not good. But not too shabby overall. If there are maps, though, that are really, really ugly for you, like you said, you're talking about map win rate, those might be ones that you want to put under a closer microscope in terms of how you're setting up your angles.
Yeah, no, that actually is a good point because I have like 30% more win rate on Busan than I do on Wizard World, so that might be part of it.
Could be. I mean, obviously, win percentage doesn't really matter in those small of a sample sizes. I would instead of looking at the stats, go with your gut. Where maps I just don't feel like I know where I'm going, and regardless of what the win rate, probably take a look. That's just a good habit to get into, regardless for the right now. So I want you to kind of revisit this section of the review later. I'm going to send you the link in a second, and I want you to kind of think about each of these points. And the most important thing is to be just self-reflective of what you need to do. When I climb from gold to diamond, gold to masters, gold to GM, right? Way back in the day, there were a lot of stagnation periods where I would hit a roadblock and I'd have to reflect about what I was doing, how I was practicing, not just in-game, but like the out-of-game stuff too. And I would come up with an idea. I'd have a really bad couple of weeks. I just felt like it wasn't going anywhere. Reevaluate what I was doing, come up with a new idea, experiment, and then have a breakthrough. Like progress is always non-linear unless you're brand new to the game. So be patient, be deliberate, be consistently asking yourself what you need to be doing differently, what you need to be doing better, and ultimately be simple with your approach. Okay, so when we're looking for things to adjust and things to change, we don't want a million different variables. It just might be as simple as being more consistent with your short breaks. It might just be as simple as, like, if you look at the feedback that I gave you, there's nothing complicated with anything in here, right? Yeah. These are just you're doing a lot of those details well, so don't worry about them. Focus on the big stuff. Focus on the simple things. Focus on this is completely avoidable. Why did you die there, right? Focus on I didn't know where to go in this map at all. Focus on the big things and be patient. Sound good?
Yeah.
The potential is there. I'm telling you, even as ugly at times as those maps were, that was not Gold Tracer gameplay on those maps. So I want to know, when you're not playing like that, what's the variable? I'm not asking you like, oh, I didn't sleep that well, or I messed up, right? That happens, right? But like when you went in, you're frustrated and you're tilted and you're distracted and you're just making stupid mistakes. Why? What can you do to prevent that from happening?